All right, and we are officially live. We're just gonna wait for a couple of people to stream trickle on in. I don't expect a lot of live viewers for this conversation, but I have to talk about this. I have to talk about this because for the vast majority of Americans, there has been essentially no news about who is allegedly responsible for this Nashville bombing. Has anyone else heard otherwise?
The
I've
only
heard
news
a
I've
couple of
heard,
things.
oh,
So what I've heard so far is that the dude that did this bombing, his name's Anthony Quinn. Body was found on site, though they couldn't tell right off the bat since he was close to the explosion. He is a
Whoa, 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 whoa!
self-employed.
Hang on, man. Spicy, you
your
are
mic
like,
was blowing up.
yeah, your
Whoa,
mic is
okay.
like blowing up. Like, do you have like clothing nearby or?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, but please start from the top. What have you heard about this bombing?
The dude that did it, his name's Anthony Quinn. He was found on site. They had to do a DNA test to figure out who he was, who the body was.
Uh huh.
Dude's name's Anthony Quinn. He's a self-employed computer guy, and beyond that, so far, it's just a lone dude that did this.
I've
So,
heard, oh, I've heard, I heard stuff from small news sites and stuff, so barely anything from the big companies.
right. So, and that's kind of what I'm saying is that there's so what have you heard from the smaller news sites? Because there, in my opinion, there are three possibilities for this bombing, and as soon as you give your info, I'm going to lay out the three options.
They usually gave out, like, mostly that it was done near NSA building, a government building.
Well, it was done out
Also,
front an AT&T building for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, they've told about the damage and stuff it's done and a bunch of other information. All the
Okay.
information we gotten from was from the smaller sites and people who were trolling around YouTube and stuff, trolling around the internet.
All right. So here are my three possibilities. The top one, the top two are obvious. Either it was by a left wing individual or it was by a right wing individual. Those are the top obvious two. Or three, possibility is this was a psyop. This was a government CIA FBI operation to malign most likely the right. And here I'm gonna how do you all feel about those three options? What do you feel is the most likely out of the three?
It's hard to say. There's until something's found for a motivation, it. We can't go either way with this, but there's also another possibility. This particular individual served 2 years probation for felony drug possession in 1978. Beyond that, he has no criminal record. In the weeks leading up to the bombing, he quit his job, gave away his car, and executed a quit claim deed transferring his Nashville duplex home to an LA woman for $0. To me, that
Wow.
sounds like somebody that's wanting to commit suicide.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. So this was basically an individual who went off grid completely.
Yeah, in weeks before the bombing happened.
Okay. All right. Well, that's well, there's also another angle to this. Apparently, um AT&T was given a contract to audit the Dominion system. Did anyone hear about this?
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I've heard about that.
So AT&T was given the contract to audit the Dominion software, and just randomly out of the blue, this man, who was identified, decided to go completely off the grid on a lark. He was a computer technician, you say, or someone in the computer field, and
Yeah, information tech specialist.
and he did a shall we say a noble execution of bombing the area. Now, as I said, in my mind, there are three options. This is either going to fall. This is either because of the left, it's because of the right, or it's a government psyop.
Hang on about that though. Reading
Okay.
into an email from a friend of mine in Tennessee. This
Ooh.
guy did not talk about politics openly in any way, shape, or form.
I believe that.
That's the smartest way to go when you're on the extreme side of things. Don't talk to people about it.
Yeah, and I'll be perfectly honest, guys. Of all of the options, because let's be honest, option number one, the left, not likely. I think the left are too coward. The left are too cowardly to pull this off. They don't have the convictions to be martyrs. They would rather make a statement rather than go blindly down with the ship, so to speak. And the third option, the psyop option, if this was a psyop, it would already be tidied up. We would already have not just a name, we would have a name, a motive, a clear-cut agenda, a clear-cut side of who to lay the blame at. And I'll be perfectly blunt, I think this was a somewhat libertarian right-wing individual, and I think that this is scaring the government shitless. I think we have a second Timothy McVeigh who is showing the press and the public what right-wing violence looks like. And
who's Timothy McVeigh?
Oh, Timothy
Oklahoma
McVeigh.
City bombing.
Yeah, he did the Oklahoma City bombing. He if you thought this was bad, Timothy McVeigh bombed a Oklahoma courthouse, I believe, where the explosion set off the Richter scale, and it was it was a devastating blast that killed over 100 people and injured hundreds more.
Well, to give you some background information on what he actually did, he took a moving truck. He filled it with, I won't get into details about the explosive he used. Suffice to say, it's a homemade concoction, and it was effective enough that this multi-story building had the whole front of it
carved out.
And what he did was he took this moving truck and he took extra panels of plywood and put it on the floor and on the left-hand side. So when he drove up, the right-hand side was free. It acted like a claymore, diverted the force of the explosion that direction, and literally blew it up.
Fuck.
Yes. And this bombing received extreme national attention. It is still regarded as the most deadly domestic terrorist attack on United States soil.
Yeah, look into it when you get a chance.
Yeah, this all indications point to someone who is right wing, and I'm at a point, guys, where I'm ready to own it. I am ready to own the right doing these kinds of things, because let's be honest, this is not the left's MO. But we have something redundant commenting below. They say, wait, so he was a computer guy who just went off grid and blew himself up on Christmas Day. My money is on him being an XRP holder who probably lost a lot of money. Can either of you translate that for me? What is an RXP holder?
I'm looking into that right now. XRP holder. That's
all right.
That sounds like a computer company
Yeah.
from
Okay.
memory.
Interesting. But it is also worthy to note that he targeted an AT&T building right after AT&T was given the contract to investigate the Dominion software system, which is
Oh,
I don't know why. I have no idea why, of all the people that the government would say, hey, we trust you, why the government would give a contract to AT&T to say what to tell us the truth about whether or not Dominion software was faulty. That to me seems fishy on its face of it. But when I look at the surrounding circumstances of this bombing, whatever motivations and whatever ideology this individual held, allegedly, the FBI and the CIA are keeping a tight lid on it, and that is extremely telling, in my opinion, because, as I say, if this was a psyop, they would have already had this wrapped and packaged. This would have already been a done deal. We would have had news reports about who this individual was, why he did it. It would have been far cleaner and far more conclusive than it has been so far. Now, I understand that it's the weekend and they might choose to release it on Monday and they had this information all along. That could possibly happen. So PSYOP is not out of the ballpark just yet. But if this goes on for at least another week, half a week, that pretty much rules out the PSYOP option, which means someone from the right did this, and this is our future now. This is the future where the right decides that they're not going to put up with any more shit. And unlike Antifa, instead of looting and rioting, we're just going to level the entire fucking city, because that's kind of how right wing violence actually works.
Okay, so real quick,
it's
Go
a
on.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Spicy. Say it.
XRP is, well, okay, it's a little more than Bitcoin, but round about the same thing. XRP is a company run by another group called Ripple. Ripple is a real-time gross settlement system, currency exchange, and remittance network created by Ripple Labs Inc., a US-based technology company released in 2012. Distributed open source protocols. It's built on that and supports tokens representing fiat currency, so monopoly money, cryptocurrency, commodities, or other units of value such as frequent flyer miles or mobile minutes.
Interesting. We have something redundant commenting again. XRP is a crypto that got hit with a major lawsuit on Christmas and lost its value over 50%. People lost millions. Wouldn't surprise me if a weird libertarian loner XRP investor did such a thing. Now, something interesting about that, something redundant, is that this individual, according to the information we have on hand, went off the grid weeks beforehand and pretty much sold off all of his, shall we say, earthly belongings. All ties to this mortal life were long gone before Christmas Day. So I'm not sure that is a valid motivation. It's probably not a valid motivation at this point in time. So again, we are looking at the quiet, lone, right wing individual saying enough is enough. That seems to be the only narrowed down alternative. Now there is talk of an alternative, like a fourth option psyop, where these companies, the big corporations, those connected with the Dominion software scam, and yes, we're going to call it a Dominion software scam, is that they were the ones who orchestrated this bombing and contacted this individual and perhaps had him do this. It might fit the timeline. There was certainly opportunity to do so, to arrange that kind of a thing. But in absence of evidence of that, again, we're looking at a radical right wing dude deciding that it was time to do something for God and country. And for those of you who are not aware, the Tennessee bombing in Nashville was a situation where an RV was driving through the downtown Nashville area, basically broadcasting, if you are in this area, you need to get the hell out. And as cops were arriving on the scene or in the general area to investigate what this individual was doing, after people called reporting gunshots for, again, unknown reasons, the bomb went off. And there was minimal damage to facilities outside of the AT&T buildings. Only 3 people were injured. So, his objective of cutting down the loss of human life was admirable and successful. So, again, where are we left? What conclusions can we draw from this event in terms of motivation and political alignment? We have very little information, and that's
Holy shit.
We shouldn't condone this, by my opinion.
Well,
So I do have to agree. I do not condone going full jihadi like that. I'm not supportive of that. But looking at this AT&T building, I just pulled it up on Google Maps and went to Street View. This thing's freaking huge.
Yep. Yes.
There's a lot more going on at this AT&T building than just
Yeah, well, apparently this building is one of the shall we say, like, not just service, but like switchboard and server locations where they host their cloud services and their streaming services, from what I understand.
maybe he had a bunch of dick pics he didn't want to get out.
Probably something to do with NMMs.
I'll you heard it here first, guys. The bombing was to conceal dick pics. It seems totally legit. You know what? I'm not ruling out that possibility. So we'll add that as option 5: conceal dick pics for number 5.
Jesus Christ! So I'm looking at the buildings on this street, and I'm not seeing anything to clue in that there's more going on here, like possible safe houses or anything beyond that. The only distinguishing building I have to say is the AT&T building. It's the only one that doesn't really fit. How do I put this? It doesn't really fit the vibe of that area. It's a lot like an old section of town.
Yeah.
And out of all the buildings there, it is the only one that has little to no traffic up front of it, but it does have a parking garage next to it.
So this was someone clearly trying to send a message while not ending human life. From what I can gather from the area, from what I can gather about where he parked next to, unless he was specifically targeting AT&T for reasons we honestly don't know. Is there any information about where he was hired or where he quit from, or where he worked at as this did you say he was a data analyst?
Yeah, I'm looking for anything that would clue anybody into something going on, but there's nothing. Like, this dude just all of a sudden went, you know what? Fuck it, why not?
Yeah, I don't I don't think that this is what fascinates me about this, is the media and the government and all of the agencies that are supposed to be working on this cannot ascertain or present any valid motive for this individual. And that to me is that in my mind that this is what informs me personally that this might have been a right winger, because the left is out and loud with who they are, what they represent, and their extremist activities. It's the silent majority that are, shall we say, more prone or more capable of being so blank slate about it. Um, so maybe it's not to call him a right winger that would be accurate. I think he was one of the common man, and that's what I find so fascinating about what little information we have about this bombing. Because what is clear is that despite he did create a massive explosive device and that he did set it off, he's not Timothy McVeigh in that he had a clear political directive, and that's what I find so interesting, and why no one seems to want or be able to talk about it. The fact that this came from someone who is just, for all other intents and purposes, an average American who had a job in the booming technology field, that's very telling. Because it's not like this man didn't have an economic future.
Okay, got
So
another email here. According to my buddy, he
go on.
says that you are quite right about his economic future. He was well set. He's a recluse, didn't talk to many people. Beyond that, there's literally nothing. You know what this does sound like though? This sounds like the fucking Vegas shooting.
Oh fuck.
Well, here's what's interesting is that the Vegas shooting, this for all of the things about what makes this different about the than the Vegas shooting is that the Vegas shooting had at least a packaged narrative that they were feeding us, right?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Um,
I,
did we get any information after Vegas?
I'm
Yeah, we
actually
got yeah
looking
we
into
got
that one right now.
we got some information that he was this gambling guy with I I can't recall.
Eggs fucking exactly. So we probably, if this is similar to Vegas, we'll probably never fucking know.
Yeah, Great Sky Troll says had a sugar baby, gave her a house. Yeah, for as Spicy said, he gave it to her for what, $0?
$0. Yep.
$0. So again, this man decided to cut all of his earthly possessions and earthly ties and just cut loose. And that's what I find so interesting about this bombing is what we have. So people are leaning towards the Vegas shooting being a psyop intended to start another um, con- gun control debate, which is why I find this odd because I'm pretty sure I'm fairly certain that there are already laws against Americans making weapons of mass destruction, which is which is pretty much what this was. Again, if you look at Timothy McVeigh's crimes, he was accused of building and executing a weapon of mass destruction, which he did. Great Sky, we've already discussed his education. He was a data analyst, and his education was shall we say, sufficient enough to have a great and promising career in the tech field, a booming industry. This clearly was not an economically driven motivation, and it's
I can answer that a little bit more in depth too. So he worked for a
okay.
series of information technology jobs. He was an independent contractor, computer technician for a real estate firm. He owned a company licensed to produce burglar alarms from 93 to 98.
Oh wow.
And that's it. So this guy was really fucking smart. And I went back and checked out the Las Vegas shooting. They were able to answer everything except for why. They still have no idea why he did this. He did that.
Yeah, that's what I
Interesting.
was referring to the why. If anyone was confused.
Nah, I knew what you were getting at because I haven't heard anything as to why he did this. He did his deed, and I have no idea as to why he did it, other than there was a situation where some of his hard drives went missing from the backs of patrol cars.
Holy shit.
Fuck.
Oof.
Yeah, that happened like a couple of days into them doing the search of his house. They were taking it really slow and easy with the search because they were worried about booby traps. It doesn't look like they're doing the same thing with this guy, but again, we're gonna have to wait for the motivation if there is a motivation. This guy's a tech dude, so I don't see him typing any of this stuff up, texting any of this stuff. They're probably gonna have to go back to pen and paper to find out what the hell this dude was up to or why he was up to it.
Yeah, we have another comment saying, where did he attend school? He is quote unquote Weather Underground age. Is that, can we confirm that? Is he is he of age to have been influenced by the Weather Underground? Because I'm that this I already addressed this earlier in the stream. This does
That's a
not
good
smell to me. This doesn't smell to me like a leftist attack. That this is not the left's mo. They're loud and cowardly. Like they don't have the balls to go down with the ship, so to speak. Which is again why this bombing interests me so much. Um, it is possible, but if you studied like Weather Underground, they did more of the Molotov cocktail hit and run style kind of bombings. They
Yeah, they
did
were
not.
dirty, but that's still that's a felony. That's actually this if this guy would have survived, whoever back then would have threw Molotov cocktails would get the same charges. But also, this dude graduated from Antioch High School in the mid 1970s.
Okay,
So
so
maybe
what was Antioch High School like a hotbed of leftism?
I don't think so. I've actually been through that town.
Huh?
Yeah, this is kind of trippy.
Yeah, it is trippy, and I'm saying you like, and I'm telling you, like outside of them, it- getting this, like wrapping this up and packaging it. Now, I'm just gonna say to Runner, like the whole comparison to the Vegas shooting is the difference between the Vegas shooting is that the Vegas shooting, despite the fact that they didn't um get a motivation per se, it was still used as a catalyst to stir up the gun control debate, which is why which is why they which is why we still suspect that despite them having every other point of information crossed, why we still think it was a psyop, because despite him having no motivation, made it even scarier in terms of him using a gun to mow down a crowd. This is different. That this is essentially a suicide bombing on a massive scale. Um, and I don't. What debate is this supposed to raise? What question is this supposed to raise? And if this is a psyop, this is literally the worst kind of psyop you could run, because if they try to paint this as a right winger, um, what effect would that have? I don't really think that it's going to have the effect of, oh, those evil people. No, there's enough malcontent from the right now that
Would see him as a martyr.
Come again?
They'll see him as a martyr.
Yes, exactly. And so I think that for the media and for those who are investigating, I think they're praying for like a smoking gun, or that a sign that he was crazy, or that he was some crazy radical. Hey, Merry Christmas, Disavowed, and yes, everyone else. I am reading your comments, and I will get to them. We have Striker saying hi. We've got Great Troll saying that this guy was a patsy, and that yes, he did give them warning. Did he actually say that he was targeting the news?
No,
I don't think I heard that. And but we did say that he wanted it to be noticed. Yes, he did. He did openly say that he wanted people to leave the area that he was about to attack. And yes, Merry Christmas, Alex. Merry Christmas. Three hoes back to you as well. And I have no idea what Striker means by this. False
So,
flag targeting news was projected by AJ at IW.
Alex
Yeah,
Jones, Infowars.
okay.
So, do you know what a false flag attack is?
I yeah, I do know what a false flag is, and that's essentially what I mean by a psyop. Is
Okay, yeah.
a false flag psyop is essentially the same bullshit. And Sean, if you want to jump on in, please do so. The link is in the general section of the Discord. If you want to jump on in there, I will gladly let you on in. Um,
Some more information just came in from a friend of mine. Right now, the FBI is looking into whether or not this dude is one of the 5G conspiracy theorists.
ooh, that would, well, for a tech guy to be a legit 5G conspiracy theorist who obviously wants to take down one of the buildings responsible for I guess utilizing 5G, that's actually that's actually pretty concerning.
Yeah, it is. It just means that he's lost his fucking mind.
Hmm.
Yeah, we have Great Sky Troll wondering if he had a terminal diagnosis.
I don't know. I haven't found anything or seen anything about that. Let me send off this email real quick.
And welcome to Nicholas Bobel, who recently subscribed from Parlor. Thank you, man. Welcome to the show. I actually need to do more of these, but you caught us on a good night. You caught us on a good night.
Yeah, you caught us on a
So,
good night, my dude.
so, so again, we have again with this individual's information all being considered, I can't. This clearly isn't a psyop. It doesn't match the behavior and MO of the left. And either we have the either we have a rogue a rogue conspiracy theorist trying to do some good in the world, or we have a right wing individual. Hey, Spicy,
Well,
you
we
can
heard your phone.
Yeah, I gotta bring that
you,
ringer down.
you can put it on like do not disturb mode. Do you have that on your phone? Because I have to do it on mine all the time.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I've probably already said this, but I'm gonna say it again. If it was a right-wing individual, we shouldn't condone this sort of action.
I don't no matter. I don't care his excuse. I don't care his reason. Hell no, I don't this shit.
No, and that's a differentiation that I want to make. I know I said that I'm not going to what was it I said? That I was going to like own the fact that he might have been our guy. Yes, what he did was, demonstrably and objectively wrong. However, let me let me just say that I do appreciate the fear of God that he's putting into the establishment and the media. That's something that I feel needs to be done, and it hasn't been done. And that's why this silence from the media is so interesting. I enjoy it, and I'm not going to apologize for enjoying their fear.
Yeah, if there's anything they need is fear.
Yeah, Sean, go into the description of this stream and click on the Discord. In the general chat is a link to this stream. So if anyone wants to jump on, that's how you would do so.
Carnal, to back up your point about them being scared, or to disprove it, they're already shit scared. That's why the election was. That's why the election was cocked, because they knew they couldn't win.
Well, not only that they couldn't win, but that the right would do nothing about it. That the right was simply too passive. And I'm sorry, but
It is.
But it is. They are right on that front. But the fact that an individual came out and did some real damage and showed them what right-wing violence actually looks like compared to the left, that's a good comparison. It's a good, healthy reminder. And the fear that that kind of action instills on those who are against us, I have to support it. I support the effect that this terrorism has brought upon our cathedral. The cathedral needs to be in fear, and I support anyone that puts them in that fear. Yes, yes, that is exactly what I'm saying, Great Sky. This may be the first salvo of the silent majority. I agree. That is exactly what this looks like, and the inconclusive data from our media and from the CIA and the FBI is what's most telling to me. So even if I have to disagree with the action on principle, the effect is something I'm going to cheer on till kingdom come. Like I'm praying that January 6th has a similar effect.
What's on January 6th?
January 6th is the day that Biden counts the electoral vote, and where Trump has basically told all of his supporters to go to Washington and get wild. Or I should paraphrase that. He said it's going to be wild. So
So I'll let you continue.
That is what Trump has said, and so the war is on January 6th. Now we're gonna let in Stryker.
Let me say this real quickly. I prefer more protesty sort of action to scare the cathedral of the left, because I don't believe in right-wing violence.
All right, Stryker, you are in. How's it going, my man?
All right.
I know
Going
it would
well.
be. I know it would be necessary in the future, but I don't think it will be necessary now. I firmly believe there should not be any right-wing violence.
Just checking here real quick. Do you read me 555 as far as audio and video?
I've got your video and your audio. You're
All
good.
right.
You're good, my dude.
I'm going to save battery by cutting my camera stream, so you're going to get a nice pic of Jeffrey Epstein with his voting sticker. So that's just let you know I'm still here. But
Awesome.
did you guys already cover that there's supposedly a backtracked or backmasked copy of the audio going out that says "Merry Christmas to all" from that RV?
Are you kidding?
Yeah, like in the 80s when they heard devil music. So either someone's doing that as a sick gag, or this guy had the audio backmasked, one way or the other. So, if that was true, if someone actually did that, then we are seeing a deep state psyop, false flag being ran on us. You know,
that would be interesting if true. Again, if this was a psyop, if this was a false flag, I'm just gonna say that this is not as neatly wrapped as most of them should be. Because usually when this is a psyop or a false flag per se, there is it's neater. It's more a more cohesive message. And so I don't think that's the case. I really think that this was just some rando, and that's
do you
beautiful.
remember do you remember the MAGA bomber guy going all around the country faster than Santa Claus, and even getting a bomb to George Soros's front step instead of to the mailbox or past security? Remember that guy and how that turned out?
That was very impressive. I'm very proud of that boy. If only that were actually legit. I mean, like exactly. That's what a psyop from our government looks like. It's very neatly packaged. It's very easy to point the finger at who to blame. You know, we have the MAGA bomber guy, but this guy in particular, like we know who he is. We know what he's done. Like we know where he was in life when this happened.
Well, let me give this to you. They said they figured out who it was from DNA evidence. That means that either the body was in the RV and got blown up, or he was nearby. And you go with DNA evidence when the remains are so messed up that you can't use dental and you can't use the face. Now, that bomb, you know, it did some damage, but to me, it didn't look like the bomb that went off in Beirut, you know, last year. You know, that bomb was a bomb. You know what I'm saying? This was more like a Hollywood gasoline type bomb that you see in a movie, you know, blows up, takes out a couple blocks, and it's all nice and tidy. Plus, it's giving the warning for people to get out of the way beforehand. So,
so actually, Spicy P can just repeat the general information that we have on the individual that they recovered DNA from. If you could repeat that for us, please.
Yes, and with my law enforcement background, I'll give you a little extra detail on that. He served 2 years probation for felony drug possession. So since he was brought in with felony charges, they would have gotten his DNA anyways. Granted, it was back in 1978, but it was a thing. It was an option that was available to them. Beyond that, this dude has no other criminal records. Also, the explosive, from what I saw, this looks this looks like a fertilizer based explosive on steroids, and it's an RV, so you can go ahead and Timothy McVeigh the shit out of that. That's plenty of space, especially if you gut the inside.
Yeah, I can see that tactically being done. I look at the police though. How fast is their database? Yeah, I don't have access to NICS or anything like that. How fast is their database at getting back someone's DNA in terms of under 24 hours? Can they know literally within an hour or 2 hours? If the time isn't right as far as the result, then we know something's off. That they gave us a lead without even realizing it.
Because this is a bombing, the FBI got in on this. So they can get that shit in within an hour or two.
That's reasonable. Now, did you guys follow the lead on the woman he gave his houses to?
No.
Name for that.
Yeah,
we have not.
Yeah, he used, I guess it's called a quit option or something. He sold off his real estate apparently for $2. Now, one of the residences is the one where they said, oh, look, here's Google Maps. Here's his RV and his address at Google Maps. And then you look at the RV and it doesn't quite match up with the other RV. The stripes are off. The windows look like they're off. So it looks like they may have someone who had an RV, maybe a similar model, but it's not quite perfect. But we're going with this Warner character. He was smart enough to do the gimmick where you give someone a house for, it was either $1 or $2. I'm forgetting the specific as far as being right on point with that. But when you're doing that move, that's usually like Wexner gave Jeffrey Epstein his Manhattan apartment / mansion for $1, if you guys remember that deal. So this guy, he has that same type of intellect that, hey, I'm going to give this lady a place for $1, and we skip whatever tax issue or whatever chain of command that happens when you do that. So it's not a stupid guy we're dealing with, regardless.
No. Well, and
This is
another factor that we've been talking about before is this was a guy in the IT field, in the data analyst field. He had a promising economic future in a growing field. This man was not. This was not something that can be chalked up to like economic deprivation in any way, shape, or form. This was someone who had some other agenda that they clearly did not want to broadcast, which I find incredibly interesting. And again, make of it what you will. There, go on.
This is a tech guy with a drug background.
Yeah,
This is a tech guy with a drug background. Okay, do we know what did he plead any type of deal with the feds when he left after he did his time for drugs?
2 years probation. That's it. So whatever it was.
See, there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys once they, they've done a deal with the feds, unless they get it expunged from their records, their chances of having a normal job at that point are pretty much screwed up. That's one of the ways they get people into becoming assets is they compromise you when you're a high school or college kid, and then you get a tech job, but you always run something shady on the side. Like maybe you hack some bank accounts, or you route something, this way so it skips notice, or you hide some data for them, or even just walk with a laptop and drop it off in a park and they pick up the laptop, kind of like the Seth Rich situation. Those Awan brothers, nobody's talking about them anymore, right? So this guy sounds like
so how long ago was the drug charges, Spicy?
1978.
1978.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they would have been dropped.
No, he was released on probation, and it's a felony charge, so no, it's not going to get dropped. It's not going to get expunged. But I'm trying to see if I can find anything about his businesses that he had.
Well, the female, let me pull up her name because she's still out there in the world. If my call drops, I'll call back into the StreamYard. So bear with me. I got to navigate my phone here.
All right.
That's fair enough.
What was the headline and article on her? Always follow what the wives are up to, because people always put their assets in the wife's name or the girlfriend's name so they don't go to court, You can't testify against your spouse.
And yes, great Sky, that he was apparently fresh out of high school when he got those drug charges. So again, this is just fascinating because it doesn't scream psyop the way that the Vegas shooter did. It doesn't scream psyop like the quote unquote MAGA bomber. This is a whole different beast. And if this is the first salvo from the silent majority, I can't say I'm surprised, and I'm kind of proud. I'm kind of proud. Dude, Spicy.
This rumor drops the same day.
Sorry,
while you guys are going over that, this drops the same day that a certain rumor comes out that there's a DLA Piper board member and Smartmatic CEO named Malik Brown, who's connected to one Mr. Douglas C. Emhoff, who's a partner with DLA Piper. Now, Douglas C. Emhoff is married to Kamala Harris, who's running for vice president. So that puts Kamala Harris in line with all the Smartmatic executives. So maybe this is to cover up that news. Run an operation whenever bad news comes out. If Kamala Harris is in the chain of Smartmatic and Dominion issue.
Here's why that doesn't flesh. And there was also someone who thought that this individual might have been reacting to the bad news of EXP cryptocurrency on the Christmas lawsuit. The problem why that doesn't flesh out is because it's too immediate to have drawn out a response of this magnitude. This guy prepared.
He's a thinker.
He's
a plotter.
Well, he got this was done weeks in advance. Like
Yeah.
he sold his house weeks in advance. So the idea that he was reacting to something that happened in the news cycle on that same day, highly, highly unlikely. That this was someone
Besides,
who prepared it. Go on, Runner.
besides, if a person lost all their crypto in a day and decides to blow up a government building,
They don't understand crypto.
yeah, I don't think they would have the
Resources that
what's
quick.
the word? No, not the resources, the temperament for crypto.
Yeah, because crypto fluctuates daily. Like
Crypto is basically the stock market.
Yep. You get in, you get out with that stuff. So this person, that doesn't seem to. This person being older, that just doesn't seem to. He's older than I am, and I'm 43, guys. This guy would have more of a mature temperament for this stuff. I would assume, having not met him.
If it was a young 20-year-old, that would be
Yeah, then
a little more. A guy around my age, that would be more.
more feasible, exactly.
Yeah, more
And
feasible.
again, he
Sorry,
sold.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, he sold the homes on the cheap to the gal, which tells me something was coming down for him, or he cared about the person enough that he didn't want them to be hurting. So he's like, "Here's a house for $1. Here's a house for $2." Still looking for that
Well, again,
female's name.
it shows a
Earlier.
level of premeditation. It shows a level of premeditation that
Yeah.
that once again transcends the idea that this was done. That's because of something that happened immediately on the day of the news cycle on Christmas Day. That's just not feasible at this time because again, this was planned out weeks in advance. So take from that what you will. Um, so what else do we know, and what do each of you suspect about this event? Starting with our newest comer.
It's a Canary in the Coal 9 situation.
Well, we look at Vegas. It's about the target. Who is the target? What's the message?
What, the country music sucks?
Well, no, that was Vegas was a incident aimed at the supporters of POTUS, and because we have no answers, that creates that first seed of doubt to weaken POTUS's base. Now, you got people all over with different angles on POTUS, and that's probably because they never could reveal that Vegas was a massive incident on our soil. I work overnights, guys. I was in Twitter with Laura Loomer tweeting back and forth back then as she was live streaming and trying to figure out what the hell was going on. I mean, she's up late sometimes too. If you remember, Laura broke open the timeline. She had more stuff she could broke open, but the thing is you always find your one news item that you can concretely go after, and you go after that. And we even had people. I'm out here in Riverside County, California. We had people out here in our county who were witnesses, a husband and wife couple, and then 2 days later, they have a car accident just a block from their home where their brakes go out or whatever, and they crash their car. So I'm literally 4 hours from Vegas. I'm an hour south of San Bernardino. We just had on Christmas an RPG found in a abandoned car on the freeway, and someone had shot through the passenger window at the driver. Driver has fled. Driver's a resident from Colton. It's a Hispanic name. I don't have the rest memorized, but that's from the San Bernardino Sun newspaper and a few other sources. So we got stuff going kinetic right now. That we had a bomber in Nashville, and then out here in California, we had someone leave their RPG behind and flee their car after being shot at. Who knew they had an RPG in the car to shoot at them? You see, It's like not just. I can pull that link up. Thing is, I got to scroll into Telegram. If I drop, like I said, I'll promise I'll be right back. I'm going to go into my other app, and I'll come back.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I do this from my phone as well.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys known for. I don't just rant with my theories. I'll bring you guys news links to show you where I'm going with my thought. Give me a second.
All right, then.
Yeah, be right
See you later.
back. Let's see here. Let's see.
But no, but you say that you're 4 hours from Vegas. I used to live in California. I know exactly where you're at. That is the desert. Like that is the bumfuck middle of fucking nowhere.
We have a mosque in San Bernardino. We have a mosque at UCR. on Blaine Street, north of the campus. What
I wonder
more do I
where
need
that
to say?
RPG came from.
Ah,
What's that?
okay.
I wonder where that RPG came from then. No,
Looks like an American-made model in the picture I saw. I'm gonna pull that link here in a second. I just got to go through everyone else on Telegram and the channel I posted it to. You know how it is in social media. You post one thing and you think it'll be there to come back later that day, and everybody else has posted like pictures of their puppies and stuff, and your stuff is like 2 days back, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Or 3 days
But
back.
no,
But
go ahead
reality,
and go ahead and post those links in the live comments, so people can go ahead and look at them while they're here.
yeah.
Absolutely. But no, this is all as I say,
I'm
this is
getting there.
incredibly interesting.
I got another email back.
Again, the target though, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, here's the female. Her name is crap. I can't pull her name up. It's a Twitter link. It's reported by the magazine Deadline Hollywood. This is the chick that he was given his homes to, and again, she's an entertainment executive. Let me pull up our YouTube chat so everyone can see it, not just people in StreamYard. And if you guys do have opinions and you want to talk, those of you who are in the YouTube chats, wherever you're at, join us on the StreamYards. It's fun. You can post up a Jeffrey Epstein picture and not get censored. Because Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
No, he did not. No, he did
There's
not.
the Twitter link for the girl.
And by the way, Trump won the election.
This girl, I think she might be a deep dive. Yes, he did. And that's another can of worms that'll probably get us censored one of these days. Let's see. Lynn Wood.
Well, repeat what you said before. I didn't catch that statement right before I said that Trump won the election, or right after that.
Oh, the female, she's going to be another person we're going to have to deep dive on, because why did she receive 1 or 2 houses from this guy? What was so special about her besides being an entertainment executive? And we know how Hollywood doesn't like the president. Also, Lynn Wood today on his Twitter feed said, or maybe it was yesterday, 1:16 p.m., former Attorney General Barr is not a patriot, and Barr was used in a lot of cover-ups. So we have a lot of bickering in the swamp going on right now. Let's see
So
here.
I got another email
Scrolling. There's
email says that apparently right before the explosive went off, it was playing the hit song Downtown.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, that's one of those little fun songs. Now here's the San Bernardino Sun article. There are other articles. This is just the first one I grabbed this morning to show my friends. This was on Christmas. A friend told me about it who works at security at another site, and I kind of just blew it off because I was running errands for Christmas. But I said this morning I'm going to take a look at it, and yeah, if you look at the photo they provide, it looks like a stock RPG. You know, if you know about Fast and Furious and those weapons getting to Benghazi through Chapo, which is why Fast and Furious was bad, and you know, that whole thing. Yeah, we were supplying, you know, ISIL, the moderate radicals. The radical moderates. Oh wait, I mean the moderate terrorists. Oh wait, I mean the college students who want to blow things up. Oh darn. Anyway, you know, the point is with ISIL, you know, we armed them, you know, and the reason they hate Flynn so much is Flynn snitched out their coordinates to the Russians, who blew the hell up out of them. You know, there's a couple of things that kept us from being at war in Syria, and Flynn's one of them. So if I do come off as being a big mark,
why the hell do I keep hearing shit about Russia that makes me want to like praise Putin?
Well, here's the thing. Because how much history lessons do you guys want me to butt in on? I mean, we're trying to stay on point with the this little thing, but this stuff is all interlinked into bigger narratives. And I know the people out there are going to say, oh, that's racist. You're saying the New World Order is a bunch of old white men. Yes and no. You know, ask Henry Kissinger. There's different factions, and you can call them the New World Order in different places. Chinese triads don't care what we're doing in the West unless it makes them money. You know,
hey, real quick, that picture that you put up, that is not a rocket-propelled grenade. That is an anti-tank rocket launcher. It's called the AT-4.
So that stock image, their stock image is not even the right weapon then.
Hang on, if this is the image that they're using. What they found is not from any mosque. It's not from overseas. This is a government-made, funded fucking rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Meant to
Oh
take
boy,
out.
this is getting spicy.
What the hell?
Yeah.
How did they get a hold of this? I want to know where I can get one.
Fast and Furious.
Probably
Paul.
some
Do you-
shady surplus store. Military
Chapo-
surplus store.
No.
Chapo's kids fought the Mexican army.
Yes.
His kid fought them with a helicopter gunship. These guys
You know
don't
what?
play. We sell our tech to Mexico and let them fight it out with it.
That would be how they got it then, because I know Mexico uses the AT4 system. And yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And I'll give you this. I'm in California, guys. You go straight up that 215 from Tijuana,
Give me a minute.
215, you're in San Bernardino. It could be a
Yeah.
Hispanic gang incident.
But for clarification, military surplus stores.
I'll be right back. I gotta feed the animals.
Military
All
surplus
right.
stores
See you in a
make
bit.
their money
Yeah.
by selling military equipment, not like that. That is insane. And if you do get a AT4, it's going to be the one with a yellow band around it, meaning it's a training AT4. So it's already been used or it's never been equipped. Unless you get the one that's made to take 9mm rounds. Those ones are really fun.
My God.
Well, you know, the fact of the matter is, though, is this guy was on a freeway with that. I mean, was he thinking he was going to do Mad Max? Was he commuting somewhere important? And who sniped him? Who knew to be off the freeway to snipe this guy? So we're all looking at, Nashville. Maybe this was the real running gun battle, right here in California.
Yeah, who the hell knows that this is so this all happened and went down on the same day. So we don't know
Christmas.
if these events are even connected, which is striking. It seems from what I'm hearing that there was far more, shall we say, government involvement in the California situation than there was in the Nashville. And the reason why the Nashville, again, to me is so perplexing and so engaging is the fact that it does completely seem to be just the silent majority or someone who was part of the silent majority just, losing their shit and saying that they've had enough. Now, the question of this Hollywood executive getting this man's houses, that's interesting, but I don't know if it's because he knew her personally or if it was, again, some kickback from some deep state operation. That is
look at the
intriguing
age.
information.
She looks pretty fresh-faced. I like I said, this dude was, getting arrested for drugs before I was even born, in the 70s. I'm born in 77, and this chick looks a lot younger than me. Guys usually don't get a younger chick unless it's a mistress or maybe a daughter or, like an illegitimate kid. Or it could be the other angle. She had compromise. Maybe there's something in the house that's like in the basement that she needs to take care of for him. Maybe he has a meth lab down there. You never know. But she is now the lead. She he's dead. She's the lead now.
Interesting.
Follow the money, follow the real estate.
There's a lot of these news agencies that are reporting on this are saying that he's a 5G conspiracy guy, but no definitive motives have been found.
I'll tell you guys this. My other post, I'm over right now at an EPA Superfund site, Stringfellow in Hoopa Valley, California. People know it for the perchlorate runoff from the acid pits during a flash flood we had out here. And my prior site off of Madison in Riverside off the 91 freeway, we had those 5G towers put in. The guy who's still over there at that site, he informed me that our woodpeckers that used to go up and peck on the 4G towers, they're dead now. They just flat dropped and they were found by the base of the 5G towers, and all the honeybees that were swarming the towers are dead now too. So whatever is going on with this 5G stuff, I'm a former Marine wireman, so wire and fiber optics are always my thing. But you're telling me about the 5G, 4G kind of lines up with what I knew in 29 Palms, where we had the warnings not to go into the antenna array field or we'd wind up being sterilized because of the high frequency radiation coming off those antennas.
Holy
So
shit.
just, food for thought. You don't want to have your balls go sit in front of those satellite dish radio antennas,
All
You're
right,
not
so
wrong.
everyone move out to the country. Stay away from the 5G antenna systems. Stay away.
Yeah, I ain't kidding about this. The military has 10G, guys. They're already using stuff that would toast you. You just don't hear about the 10G because, again, we don't want, I can joke we don't want the Russians, but in reality, it's China we don't want to have it because China uses that mindset of human waves. They are so merciless in their approach that they don't care how many people die as long as they win the battle.
Damn.
That's that whole Pyrrhic victory. Well, to them, they don't have Pyrrhic victory because they have such a population that they can afford to lose. That's why they allowed Wuhan to get as bad as it did before they locked it down. They're now looking at sewer samples as well as blood supplies from the Red Cross that date back to October and September of 2019 as having COVID. That's, how ruthless the Chinese are. They didn't lie about it in December. They were lying about it during the fall, during the time of the Wuhan Games and Event 201. And we all know the government loves to do stuff during their drills.
Yeah.
I ain't saying that's know-it-all. I'm just saying that's how the operations actually usually do run.
Yeah, this is interesting stuff. But coming back to the Tennessee bombing,
Yes.
I'm absolutely baffled as to the so what is your Striker? What is your personal take on this individual, his motivations, and do you think it was a psyop? Do you think it was from the right? Do you think it was a psyop, or do you think it was some other third option? Because I've ruled out the left. The left don't operate in this manner.
Well, that's what you're made to think. I have like 3 or 4 different rabbit holes, or I could send us down. I, for one, I'm still trying to wait for more evidence and to see how it's spun. When you see the spin, that's when you can usually figure out what these guys are up to. But right now, there's so much going on in the media between COVID, the election, other different incidents, the dark winter, all that like this is like a small piece of the puzzle. If you guys know what the Tet Offensive was from the Vietnam War.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Pop, pop, pop until everybody gets bored with it, doesn't pay attention, and then boom. And then that's when the real battle happens. We've been dealing between the riots over the summer and everything else and the protests. That's been our Tet Offensive. So they're hitting us with these things just to keep us nervous every day until they get the real boom, which I think that when POTUS does January 6th, I think they're going to try to do like a real, a Kennedy event on him. Or what I fear worse is that because all these patriots will be in D.C., you'll wipe out a bunch of patriots in one fell swoop. Don't even have to nuke D.C. You just drop some mustard gas or some bioweapon on them. So that's the one problem is as much as us getting ready to go to D.C. and, rah, 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 we're stepping right into a perfect honeypot, a perfect bear trap if we get caught there. So this to me could be a step of many steps, if you get what I'm saying, to keep the drumbeat up.
I don't think they're going to go overt like that. If anything, there's going to be this may be a precursor to a staged event that happens out at DC during the protests. Possibly a shooting, possibly a Berkeley incident with just a bunch of fighting going on, and then again the right looks like it's batshit insane.
Yeah, that'll be how it's spun anyway. They already had a thing about someone, the way the media put the image, so-and-so.
Hang on, I'm just going to read it. I'm going to read a comment real quick from Alex. If you're too scared to go, we have already lost. And I have to agree with Alex on this one. He is absolutely correct. And to not to counteract your point, but to raise my own objections to it, if the deep state were to try to shall we say, catch to shoot all the fish in the barrel, to dynamite all of the fish in the January 6th barrel, that would not go well with the rest of the country. That would kick off a civil war. And it would kick off a civil war with the rest of the people who said, well, now my silence has earned me a death sentence. I may as well go down fighting. I don't think that I do not slowing down the way they expect it, if you are correct. If this is setting the stage for a massive event on that scale. I don't see it happening. I don't see it going in their favor, and it would give Trump the perfect excuse to declare martial law. They would be
Well,
walking right. They would be walking right into a trap. They don't want to. They don't want to trigger, and that's that's why I don't think that would be their angle, because it would be incredibly stupid. It would not demoralize the country. It wouldn't demoralize the 74. I apologize. It would not demoralize the 74 million people who voted for Donald Trump. Quite
It
the
was
contrary.
galvanized.
Quite the
Well, here-
contrary.
I agree with you, but I also know that the deep state thinks like that as well. And what would be better than, okay, Trump did win the election. He's all set to be inaugurated. He's taken out, and Pence slides into the pocket.
Huh. Now,
Pence is deep state, my friends. He's the one who got Flynn fired. I'm not trying to sound like a Flynn fanboy, but I know what the deal with that was. So
interesting. I had no
I'm
idea
back.
Pence's involvement with that.
yeah, he's the one who said Flynn was lying to Trump and started that whole process. When Flynn was governor, he was covering up for a child trafficker pal of his, and everyone knows that that's Flynn's pet hobby is go after child traffickers.
Huh.
So that
Sorry,
is what
can
it
you
is.
guys bring me up to speed after I left?
Yes, the
Well,
old
I'm-
Pence pocket.
I'm basically saying we may not be able to trust Pence if Trump was to accidentally get taken out during a speech and they blame it on patriots, or they nuke the patriots in the same swoop.
Yeah, it's I had no idea about Pence and Flynn.
Pence is the George Bush to our Reagan. When you got to remember, see, I'm the old historian nerd here. Reagan changed after he got shot. Who'd he get shot by? The kid of Bush's buddy, Hinckley. The same
Wait.
Hinckley that a month before Trump was elected in 2016, the media said,
Hey,
"Oh,
hang
hey,
on,
look,
hang on.
Hinckley's out of jail."
Who's eating the potato chip?
They're making me hungry.
I know.
I haven't snacked on my lunch yet. I just clocked in, guys. Come on, I got 4 hours to lunch. Take it easy.
Same. Who's snacking on my stream?
I'm not.
Oh, I was
That's
obnoxious.
probably
a few weeks
me.
ago.
God
I was
damn it,
on.
Roman, mute yourself when you eat. Common
I was on-
decency, sir.
I was on Maurice Delks at his last hour, like a couple weeks ago, and I'm eating carrots and hummus, just crunching on him on his stream because half those guys are as bad as me at talking over people. So I figured I'd
All
just
right.
crunch and snack.
Fair. All right. So, what were you saying before I had to interrupt the potato streamish?
But no worries. I'm saying that, the media made a point to let the Trump campaign and everybody else know that, oh, gee, Hinckley, the kid who shot Reagan, all for Jodie Foster, quote unquote. Hinckley is out of the asylum. When he was in the asylum, he had a whole floor to himself. They treated him like a god while he was there for his confinement. So he wasn't hurting or nothing like that, other than he was stuck in a building. Hinckley was the son of a friend of Bush, George H.W. Bush. And Nancy Reagan would never let Ronald be alone with the Bushes after that point, after Reagan got shot.
Because no, and it's the same shit that they did with JFK. They just failed.
Yeah.
Reagan is of sterner stuff than
The bullet went in the armpit. Yeah, the bullet went in the armpit, not the head. Big difference.
Yeah.
But the case with also the Secret Service back then is they also learned, that it looked really bad on them to let Kennedy get taken out like they did. But
Yeah.
I'm actually reading Jesse Ventura's book on that. They killed our president, 63 reasons, so on and so forth. I'm like on page 28 of it right now, amongst
Watch
other.
out for the lizard people.
Hey, lizard people, get this. When they refer to your basic instincts, that's called your lizard mind, your lizard brain activating. So there may be something to the idea that, someone's just activating based on their carnal appetites and their lower functions. It may not mean that they're
that is
literally a
true.
lizard.
Well, no, it is true that these lizard people, so to speak, these shall we say these people who indulge in sincerely the darkest most base desires anyone could possibly have. They are engaging in the reptilian mind to the point to where they are barely recognizable as human. Like Jeffrey Epstein did not think he did anything wrong. He sincerely believes. Jeffrey Epstein believed that the only reason people wanted to target him was because they couldn't do what he was doing. He thought that he was sincerely above the rest of humanity and that he just had the balls to do what he wanted to do. That
Well, yeah, he's using Zorro Ranch for doing. He wanted to basically have himself as the next genetic Genghis Khan, where he'd have all these superhuman descendants. It was a really twisted operation. Everyone focuses on the island. They miss how protected Zorro Ranch in New Mexico is. That
Yes.
place is surrounded by properties belonging to the New Mexico governor, not the current one, not even Bill Richardson. We're talking a governor from the 70s.
Well,
You know?
Yeah.
hang on. So,
Fuck.
real quick, one of the owners of a restaurant affected by the blast mentioned that guests had reported the vehicle had been seen there since Thursday night. If you look at the road, and there is no. This is weird. This RV should have been fucking towed if it was sitting out there.
72 hours for a tow, guys.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's my field of work.
Yep.
I don't know about that.
Hey, I'm gonna have to mute myself because I gotta drive in the golf cart for a minute. So I'll be back on, and we'll follow up on this girl and the other different threads we have. I'm still listening. I just gotta mute myself to not interfere with your StreamYard. You know.
Fair enough.
Ah.
Fair enough.
Here.
Sorry.
Let's
All
see,
right,
microphone
Sorry,
on.
Carnal, about the chips.
You did. No, that's amusing to me. I'm muting myself.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay, so tell me what you've got about this whole angle with the parking shit.
All right, so I know what model RV it was, and judged by the parking spaces and how they're sized, this RV should have been towed because it would have been an impediment to the rest of to the flow of traffic around it. And this is a one-way street.
Good Lord. So it was parked since Thursday
Thursday night, yeah. Then again,
night.
it being Christmas Eve, not many businesses would have been open at the time too. So
And I'll be honest, on Christmas Eve, and if you're in security and if you're in Christmas Eve and you're in like law enforcement or security, like everything is so much more laxed on those holidays, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. I'll be honest, the idea that they gave him a pass on those days as far as parking is concerned is not surprising, especially in like downtown Nashville. Like they're not they're really not going to be up to snuff on many of their normal violation enforcements. That's not surprising. That could have been something that easily slipped through the cracks. So again, I'm fascinated by this because if it is a government psyop, it's not it's very sloppy. It's not a psyop that's affecting most mainstream Americans. Most mainstream Americans looking at this are, if they're anything like me, thinking to themselves, well, it's about damn time. Like, I mean, I don't see I don't see how this was meant to intimidate anyone but the media. And that's what I find about this that's what I find about this scenario that's so intriguing is who, if it was a psyop, who was it psyoping out? Who was it what was the purpose of the false flag? And you know, we're talking about the intended target. From here, it appears that the intended target might have been AT&T, or alternatively, it could have been just I don't know. What would you call this? An act of martyrdom in rebellion against the status quo, which it's intriguing. It's so Alex says if you watch the explosion, you can clearly see it did not come from the RV. I was not aware that we had a video of the explosion itself because
So
most
I
uh,
did watch. I did watch it. For that, what could have been used was a primary detonation, and then what you see is a secondary detonation of whatever was used to expand the explosion. Because it was a fireball, it's possible that it was gas based. A lot of gasoline, when it explodes, it will create a fireball that does rise up. It just doesn't have that much oomph to it, let alone concussion. So it would have had to been mixed with other things, but the idea could have been fuel air bomb of sorts.
yeah, I'm sorry, Striker. I did mute you again because there was a
I'll
wind
be right
interference.
back.
All
That's
right.
all right. I'm taking a second while I open a gate here. You're again. I'm also now I got like again several different options we got to look at. One option right now is habeas corpus. We have this DNA evidence. Have we actually seen a body, or are they just saying this? You get what I'm saying? We're gonna say, oh, FBI was there all day at the guy's house, all of this stuff. For again, if I don't see a corpse or a smear on the sidewalk, at least of what's supposed to be his corpse, I'm a little skeptical. I'm raised on the days of E-bombs world. You know, show me the corpse from the guy in the motorcycle wreck wrapped around the telephone pole. I'll believe, okay, the dude's dead. You know what I'm saying? So this
do
is
have
kind of
to
thing
agree with
too.
that.
No corpse. I gotta mute myself again, but I just want to throw that out there real quick.
Also, a good point. So go on, Spicy.
I do have to agree with that. I kind of miss back when you go to the weirder side of the internet and find the pictures of bodies of a particular incident to put those ideas at ease. That would be nice. Like I'm. It goes back to the conspiracy about Adolf making it out of Germany and ending up in Argentina because the DNA test done against the parts that the Russians said they got from the body came back to some woman instead of a dude.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
here's an interesting comment from Alex. He says they would have blamed us by now. It doesn't make sense that it was intended to be blamed on us, and I have to agree. I have to
yeah,
agree completely. If this was a psyop intended to demoralize or to malign the right, they would have already done it. And that's again, it's what makes me so intrigued by this bombing. The fact that they haven't blamed the right already, the fact that there is no clear discernible motive, also concerning that there is no body for us to readily identify that they pulled DNA from. It's a mystery in total until more evidence comes forward. And I'll be honest, I don't see any more evidence coming forward. I think this is all we're gonna get, and it's so interesting because I the purpose of this kind of operation, if it was intended to malign one side or the other or any certain group, it would have already come forward.
holy shit.
May I? Uh,
Yes.
may I interject here? I'm sitting in the golf cart. Like I literally just jumped in before I start the engine back up here. Again, what I said about also knowing who the target is. If you haven't noticed, in the last 48 hours, Snowden popped up and did another interview. And I'm going to just, I'll feed you this breadcrumb for the moment. What does Snowden and AT&T have in common? All right, got to mute myself while you guys mull that over.
Go ahead. All right, Spicy, please unmute yourself so we can go to your previous point and then discuss that one.
Yo,
How's it going, Runner?
I just gotten my curry and the stream.
Ah.
Yeah, nice.
All right. So, Spicy P, what were you about to say?
Okay, so I just got curious because I wanted to see if there were other aspects of the 5G conspiracy theory deal. At this point in time, right now,
Uh-huh.
if you type in 5G conspiracy, a shitload of news articles about the bombing pop up. Why Nashville bomb
Interesting.
investigators feared copycat attacks by 5G conspiracists. What?
So
May
they're
I?
saying,
This could
go
also
on.
this could also possibly be a misdirection. If they're going with the dude being a 5G conspiracy theorist, could
I
it be a
agree.
possibility that they found a motivation and they don't want to let people know what the motivation was?
That would be my top theory right there. That would be on the nose as far as I'm concerned. I think that is a misdirection, and that they know and they don't want to say, and that just that just gives me warm fuzzies. Just to be honest. Now, Stryker, you wanted to interject.
Yes. Keep in mind, like I'm saying, also we're currently we're currently in a quiet cyber war. It's a cold war at the moment with China, not a hot war. 5G is Hawaii's one of their biggest products. If you remember, Trump basically told China to go pound sand on their 5G. Now, AT&T would be an American company, let's just say a business competitor. One of the things we can look at when these things go down is sometimes it's not necessarily government sabotaging each other, but businesses sabotaging each other. So that's yet another possibility. Is this could be an attempt to, make AT&T look really bad. Again, they're the victim, quote unquote, of the attack. So it could be the whole 5G, Hawaii getting kicked out of the U.S. Maybe China wants to give us a black eye with one of our telecoms. I'm not saying for
Okay.
certain. I'm just putting it out there as a different, different thing to look into. But I stress over Snowden and the AT&T connection because AT&T is essentially the front for the NSA. They own a lot of the satellites that are up there in orbit. Other companies have since put satellites up in orbit. But as Snowden revealed on Prism, every satellite that we have that we launch, you have the Prism filter on it. The NSA gets everything before it's relayed to its intended target. And then that's where they do the bulk metadata collection. So if you remember in Fight Club, Tyler Durden thought, he was going to affect the world economy by blowing up banks when we all know it's stored online and in the cloud and stuff like that. Maybe this is someone who just thought he had to blow up an office building to make an example of the 5G and of the NSA and all that. Remember, he's a computer guy, as we established earlier. So maybe he thought he's just making a Tyler Durden like a Pyrrhic victory where, F it all, I'm going to take out one of their businesses, even if it doesn't make a difference. It could be that angle as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go with spicy peas on this. I think that the 5G claim is very much a misdirection, because I feel from that, because if that were true, it would be far more virulent. It would be far more there would be far more action concerning, like, the how would you say, the callousness
backlash.
and the backlash would be far more intense, right? But no, that's what leads me to believe that this is probably a misdirection.
And
I
I'm prone to
don't
agree to that. Again,
I'm
Snowden doing an interview kind of is like maybe the timing is just, just out there to be out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like
And
my guy in California with a missile launcher or the
uh-huh.
RPG.
And so I'm just gonna rest on my laurels and say this was probably a guy who had right-wing motives, and he had justified right-wing motives, and the powers that be do not want his motives publicized, because it would embolden the populace. It would terrify the cathedral as it stands, and I have to support that. I have to support
Well,
terrorizing the cathedral.
I have something along those lines. You guys will find it really good to bite into. It's the one I'm keeping it, so I knock it out of the park for you guys. I'll get into it a little bit. I got to go up the hill and take one more reading at another well site as far as whether their water levels are correct. So let me meet you guys. I will come in with this. I'm kind of giving you my weakest stuff first and building up to something stronger that I've been watching. So give me a minute, or maybe 3 minutes at most. Like I said, I got to drive up to a different site here on this big. If you ever study Stringfellow, if you want to look up government mismanagement, it's a perfect example of the government threw money to people and they still screwed it up. These waters here, the groundwater, their well water will be contaminated for 500 years. But hey, go government.
Yep,
So
exactly.
I'll be
All
right
right.
back.
When you return, we'll get to the real meat of the discussion. But no, I'm anything that puts the fear in the cathedral, and that's what I think that this event did. All signs seem to point that this attack, this bombing, really has struck the core of the media because of their scant coverage of it. I don't see a lot of coverage. I don't see a lot of information coming out of this event, and it seems to be that people don't want to talk about it because it would. They're afraid that such a force of power would incentivize the rest of the people who feel the same way. Now, that's of course another form of projection that they have to deal with. What they don't know, and what I don't want them to know, is that half of the conservatives in this country would immediately disavow anyone who did anything violent. But then again, leftists projecting their own biases would not, of course, come to that same realization. Um,
Okay, might have found another motive.
Go on.
Go on.
Uh, the bomber's dad died of dementia. Who Warner's father died of dementia after a career spent working for Bell South. The baby Bell split off from AT&T and was acquired by the phone giant in 2006. Investigators believe his father's death fueled Werner's 5G conspiracy theories. Bomber believed he'd be hailed a hero for the attack, a source said. This is also coming from the Daily Mail, so take a big, like, horse-sized salt lick block of salt on this sucker.
Yeah, I don't believe it, but please continue.
The suspect believed 5G was the root of all deaths in the region, the source said. 5G has been targeted, blah, 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 blah.
That almost makes that makes so little sense. I'm just defaulting back to my previous position.
Press X it out on that.
So I'm thinking this
Chat,
5G
press X
stuff
for
is-
doubt.
I'm thinking this 5G stuff is definitely bullshit, but a catalyst to this event happening is this guy looking for blame to be put on his father dying of dementia. If that's even the cause, I need to find a date of death for this because it would have to at least be
Within
judging
the
by
last
time,
couple of years.
it if this is as raw as they're saying it is, I would have to say this had to have he had to have passed in the last month and a half.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but from what I'm gathering from the news sources about 5G, is it known for allegedly causing dementia? I haven't heard of that as being one of the side effects. Like infertility, yeah, we got it from the horse's mouth. Infertility can be caused from intense radio waves or the frequency rate, whatever. Is dementia one of the one of the side effects of 5G from even the conspiracy side?
Uh, yes and no. So I don't know if you guys. This is going to sound crazy as shit, but here we go. All right, so in the paranormal world of ghost hunting, bear with me.
Uh-huh.
This
Yes.
this is something I do as a hobby, and theories help out. One phenomenon known to be a manifest of possible ghostly activity is this feeling of being watched, sudden dread, and whatnot. Well, certain people do have a sensitivity to electromagnetic waves. What could happen is you get into a fear cage situation. What that is when there's a whole bunch of lines, power lines, that are going down a hallway or in a God, what do we call it? A maintenance room where you put like fuse panels and shit. Well,
Yeah.
if you get near that, and you happen to have a particular sensitivity towards those waves, you could feel the hair on the back of your neck stand up, and uh, you could suddenly become paranoid and filled with anxiety. That would just mean that the magnetic waves are affecting you in a physical form. Well, that being the case, 5G is not an electromagnetic wave, but it is a radio wave. It's called 5G because it's 5 gigabytes, and that is based off of hertz, not just memory, because to download information to your phone is through radio waves. So could it be possible that dementia, brain cancers are all these issues that are becoming more and more relevant each day is a byproduct of the propagation of radio waves? Yeah, but unfortunately, because this is so widespread, there's no way to actually test for it. We have kids that are being born into this. We have no kids that are being born outside of this. This is something that would have to be a study done over 20, 30, 40 freaking years from the time the mother popped out the vaginal turd, so to speak.
All right. And well, on that note, Stryker is back, and to give us the real meat of the possibility of this Tennessee bombing. Go for it.
Let me, if you can hear me, let me comment on Spicy's thing regarding the ghost hunting and stuff. The phenomena of electric interference inducing humans reacting as if they've seen ghosts and things like that is actually within that field long documented. You'll find different, whether they're televised ghost hunting groups or whatever, they don't want to be around electronic interference because they don't want people to mistake a hallucination resulting from electronic interference as being, part of their ghost hunting experience. You'll notice the different groups out there in that field take a lot of effort to prevent that overlap. Even in Ventura's conspiracy theory TV show, they demonstrated there was different electronic devices that can cause people to experience different symptoms of hauntings, as well as different illnesses. And these are different, black op, DARPA weapon systems, whether it's devices that make people sick to their stomach, their microwave rays, the device that's an echo speaker where you can target only one person hearing voices. If you actually look at the Mothman stuff on the East Coast, that area happens to have a bunch of radio towers in it. So all of those different little things right there. The dementia / cell phone link possible. I would say that a lot of times people misdiagnose brain cancer as dementia because they're looking for the wrong symptoms, and so they miss someone having a brain tumor, and then by the time their brain's corroded, it was dementia. Because dementia is the brain losing its ability. The cancer is going to eat away the brain, so it's kind of an overlap in symptoms, I would imagine. Also, Joe Biden having aneurysm, having his skull opened up. Hillary Clinton having her brain tumor removed. There's and then she starts acting loopy. So there may be something there with that.
Okay. Again, I am not disputing any of those. What we can call them facts at this point. It seems very well documented. So, again, but back to the meat of the hypothesis. What can you bring? What new theories can you bring to the table about this bombing?
Okay. Again, the target's AT&T. What news outlet does AT&T own?
Oh, yes. It owns CNN, correct?
Yes, the king of fake news. Now, this unfortunately is not Nashville. I've been joking with people for a long time that patriots need to liberate the Dominion servers and take them for ourselves. And of course, my half-hearted joke, someone might take seriously and actually do some really awesome patriot, a Boston Tea Party movement. Because who better to take the servers and get them into the courts than the patriots so they're not doctored before they get to the courts. But
that would be beautiful.
Yes, of course, if someone died, they'll all blame me for it, but I'll take responsibility for the joke, free credit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've been thinking about that for a while. Someone might go after the servers. What if in Nashville there just happened to be a stash of those servers, and or maybe the person just didn't like CNN, period. So he thought, that'd be a screw you to CNN. Now, if you want to take it for what it's worth, you know about the whole Moloch owl type thing and all that?
Yes. Well, refresh
Yeah.
the audience so that they know what you're talking about.
There are those who believe that the New World Order is into symbology, including that of the owl or Moloch, the eye of evil, all these two-horned signs or make things resemble owls. Also relates into all the, child trafficking stuff. But the point is, the AT&T building, a lot of folks, the researchers are noting that the top of it is made to look like a giant owl. And so maybe this person thinks he's taking a big, stab at the followers of Moloch, the NWO, by way of attacking that building. But again, we are looking at the victim, not just the architecture. Let me pull up. I'm in my gallery in my phone from what I've been scrounging offline today. I want to pull up the tweets and the different threads so I can just paraphrase them without, misquoting them. That'd be so rude to misquote people, Let's see here. Where did I put that? In my downloads? I think it was in my download file.
Anthony Q. Werner was not married. It looks like the deed was filed January 2019, and it was executed the 25th day of November 2020.
Huh. So he said, this is a plan. This isn't just some random, I'm mad and I'm going to go blow it up. And look, what was that November date? November what?
25th day, November 25th, 2020. That gave him a full month from then to the explode. Holy shit. On top of that, there is no connection to this particular lady. This lady had no idea that she was even aware of the deed switch until the police showed up.
Well, take a look at the building, though. It has the two horns like the whole Moloch owl that a lot of people.
No. Hang on. This is actually crucial. Why is the alleged bomber, the alleged deceased bomber, pointing ownership of his home to this lady? Yeah, that is interesting.
He knows something about her. Then he wants people to look at her.
What did she do?
What did she do?
The plot has thickened.
The plot has thickened indeed. So again, I'm convinced that the media and the deep state knows exactly what his motivations were, and they are trying hard as fuck to deflect from it. And that is
because this guy's an information analyst. It wouldn't surprise me if he happened upon something on accident
or on purpose. I've got more for you.
This is true. Could be on purpose too.
This person who posts this Suicide Seattle, I think this is, it might also be a Twitter feed. It has that, or it's another feed. Person posting as at Suicide Seattle. They asked, why Nashville, why AT&T? Here's your answer. Room 641A is a telecom operated by AT&T for its Warrantless Surveillance Act. What part of the country does it cover? Georgia.
Oh, shit.
Merry Christmas, right?
All right, we now know. Okay. That has to be it.
There's more.
This is from
Yes, this is from This was from this last night from the guy at E, as in letter E, will help you. And he's had 31,000 views on his thing. Regarding Nashville, their objective was to knock out communications, including 911 in the area for a short while, not to injure people. You aren't looking for a terrorist attack. You're looking at a small piece of a much larger scheme that was underway by sophisticated operatives. Whoever detonated the RV knew exactly what they were doing. The real crime didn't happen in Nashville. It happened in the giant blind spot that was created by the blast. And that's what I noticed. The blast looked kind of weird, guys. Like because I'm a former Marine communicator. I could have been intel, but I'll go into that story about my boot camp. It's more realistic than Snowden's, at least. But anyway, the point is I've had that intel mind of like, okay, do something over here so the enemy doesn't see what you're doing over here. I think the blast was kind of like make everyone look at the RV, look at this, but what were they really doing? Like if you have a blast, maybe you graphically edit in a fireball while someone's taking a dolly with a server on it or pallets of votes on the dolly or a pallet jack. I mean, have we actually had anyone slow-mo the fireball? Like I slow-mo the Pentagon getting hit on CNN's footage on the 10th anniversary 9/11 special, and you can see it's not a plane hitting the Pentagon. The smoke's coming out of the Pentagon before the blur even touches the Pentagon. Like that's how obsessive I am as far as I'll break some stuff down from time to time just to see if I can debunk it. So has anyone sat down and slow-moed this fireball to see, like you guys said, it doesn't look like it generates from the RV. So what else is around the RV as the fireball takes off?
Interesting. Very interesting.
There's some information about the house and a note of some kind. Warner reportedly went on to write Swing, this is the lady's name, that he was signing over a home to her, but gave her a vague warning of something out of the ordinary of the basement. This is in the letter now. The attic has plywood and lighting. Take a look. The letter concluded, according to the outlet, the basement is not normal. Take a look. Woof, woof, Julio.
Woof, woof, Julio?
Woof, woof, Julio.
Julio. Woof, woof.
What is that a reference to?
Nobody knows who this Julio is, so... Okay,
so he's sending either her or the people intercepting this message a code.
Yeah.
And
sniff. Something's in the floorboards.
Yeah, I think that something's definitely afoot. And there is again the feds, the deep state, the media, they know his motivation and they're not telling us. And that's interesting enough. And I think we can leave it there. Is there any more that we need to say about this particular event? Is there any more theories we need to entertain?
Oh, there's plenty more, guys.
Other than Disavowed, who said that he used to date her mom.
Huh. Well, now that's something. And again, I noticed the age range. It could be something to do when she was a kid.
Well, I'm just going to say that Disavowed is probably telling a joke.
Oh, there's always that too. Here's what I'm going to put out. A fellow named @Matthew Hayden. I wonder if he's related to another Hayden we know of in the military and government. Anyway, he put, for what it's worth, Laura Bush tweeted this recently, and Laura Bush tweeted a Christmas ornament that's an owl with a green eyes, a gold necklace of feathers, and it's nice little cutesy.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Hey, owls are a symbol for school teachers in Athena, so I don't always think the meaning is Moloch only. I'm aware of that Moloch issue, but the Greeks valued wisdom, and I don't think wisdom's a bad thing. It depends on what else you're doing with your Moloch symbolism, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
all right. So
let's see here. Who else here? RV Explosive National. What else here? David Malloy says he's frazzled. I don't know what that number coding means. Let's see, Timothy. Oh, and also this is just from a guy named Boaz Nerd @Boaz Nerd. Around the corner from this morning's car bomb, the AT&T Batman building in downtown Nashville, Tennessee, is 33 stories tall and is located at 333 Commerce. Previously, a Masonic hall used as a hospital supply store during the Civil War stood on the site. So
interesting lore.
So
Very
it used to be it used to have a Masonic connection. So that's it's just amazing. All this weirdness.
You know what, Stryker? You know what, Stryker? I think we've just cracked the code that he sent to this woman. He's talking about the basement of the AT&T building.
Mm-hmm. Something buried there.
If that is the case, we're looking into some really deep shit, and I'm just going to say the cathedral should be terrified because apparently we're closing in on them. And so here's to that, and I'm hoping that I'm hoping for 4 more years. I'm still hoping for that. I hope that we all go to the January 6th event and we're able to contribute in that way. Gentlemen, thank you for coming. I'm going to end the stream here. I think we've said all that
Yep.
needs to be said about the Tennessee bombing, and this has been far more enlightening than I thought it would be, far more revelatory. And I thank you all for attending. Just one by one, give your sign off and where we can find the rest of your information.
Who's
Does
gonna go
anyone-
first?
Well, does anyone have like so Striker's new? So does Striker have any did you have any YouTube channels? Do you have any Telegram channels you want to plug in right here at the end?
Well, you guys can find me as Sean Stryker on Facebook or facebook.com/SSTRYKERT. I basically took my first initial Stryker and then my last real name initial and slapped it together. So facebook.com/SSTRYKERT. But the thing that I was going to stress is, we're going to keep having stuff like this going on in this back and forth battle. A lot of people don't understand their history, so we're repeating it. And we have peaceful, lawful solutions, so guys don't need to blow things up or be waving rifles around. I referenced Syria earlier. There are folks that I am working with, national-assembly.net. We are doing things that are lawful, which means the legal side doesn't deal with it. We are within constitutional law, not maritime law. Do you understand the difference between the two? Something we start learning about in the Marine Corps. Like Sidney Powell, a birdie told me that the reasons her affidavits are turned off or were turned down is because she did not have the penalty of perjury signed on her affidavits. So she was, as a lawyer, she's purposely sabotaging herself. And that's because the bar does not work against the bar. If she's purposely sabotaging herself, I'm going to be one very pissed off guy. However, Flynn is somebody I'm not going to say we have a direct line to him, but it's important to know people that know people when you're doing. I'm dealing with like the old Korean War veterans, the Vietnam vets, the few World War II veterans. A long time ago, FDR changed the way the country was being ran, and there's stuff that goes before that. But it used to be the military taught civilians, and they taught their own troops what civics really were, the difference between corporate law and constitutional law, the difference between, what the Electoral College does, what the popular vote and all that does. FDR got rid of all of that with his Great Society deal. So we've asked the president to restore civics education. At his GOP nomination speech, he added that phrase into his speech. He also repeated it at his Mount Rushmore July 4th speech. So we are getting some things done. So come and check us out at national-assembly.net. We are reforming the people in assembly. And an assembly like that, we can actually override the de facto government we're under. The president is the CEO of the corporation. You got to understand, we are not happy customers. So what do? You shut down the corporation. And the Constitution has leverage in ways that we're allowed to do that. So I want to give you guys an opportunity to know about that. And if you're sick of all these false flags and all this detective work we got to do, let's go back to an honest government then that runs just under the Constitution. I yield.
All right.
Have a great night.
Go ahead and post your links in the comments and in the comment after the stream ends. And everyone, God bless and stay carnal. This is a great stream, guys.
Yep.
Good night.
Yep.